Well, hello and thank you for joining me for another Alex on Tech and iTWire TV interview. Today I'm joined by Raghav Sibal. He's the Managing Director for Australia and New Zealand of Manhattan Associates. Welcome to the program.
Great, Alex. Good to be here.
Now, Raghav, can you please tell us what Manhattan Associates does in 2021 and how it has evolved since the company started in 1990 with its first warehouse management system?
Absolutely. So let's start with 2021. So what we're doing now is we're bringing technology to the market that's bringing supply chain and omni-commerce solutions to the world's leading companies. And this is technology that's built on top of innovation that's come in over the last 30 plus years. So let's take you back to 1990, where we first started off, right? So we started off as a small company out of a garage in Manhattan Beach, California, just outside Los Angeles. And we built the first solution called Pick Ticket Management System. It was built for Jockey, an underwear company, and they're still our customer today. But what we've done, and there's certain simple things that we've just focused on and that we love to do, and that's innovation. So this is just a company built over 30 years of just pure innovation going into the space. And just to give you an example, just since 2009, we've put in $600 million in R&D, and just about 90 million in 2019. So as a result, now we've got a leading set of technologies from end-to-end supply chain focused on supply chain solutions and omnichannel commerce solutions that is helping the best companies in the world power their businesses.
Yeah, well, never has it been more important in the era of COVID. The last 18 months of the pandemic, with manufacturing, logistics, retail, e-commerce, shipping, and more having changed at their fastest pace ever. I mean, they've had problems with logistics and supply chains. It's been sort of an ongoing thing for everybody that we've had to evolve. So how critical has your technology been in ensuring that your customers can stay in business, pivot with all the changes, and scale to handle the digital acceleration and digital disruption? What makes Manhattan Associates technology different?
Yeah, great question. I mean, what we do is very vital, and I can tell you it's been important for the entire kind of life of the company, but it's never been as important as it is now for a couple of reasons. I'll tell you. The first one is that it's become exceedingly important for companies to know exactly where their inventory is, how much do they have, and where are they holding it. And this has become more and more, this kind of been exposed and come to the forefront during the pandemic, where we went to the shelves and we didn't see toilet paper and we didn't know how much is still left in the warehouse or back with the supplier, how much in order. And companies also scrambled for a bit because they saw that surge in demand, and they wanted to make sure that they've got enough on order, or they know exactly where it is. Starting from there, it's become supply chain now has become a conversation that's happening in the boardrooms. For years, we've been trying for that to happen and that to occur, but it's really come in there. And look, what we are doing today is really driving companies to bring their supply chains closer to the customers, because the customers want to know more and more about what's going on. Where am I going to get something? Where is it arriving from? How can I get it differently? Can I walk in somewhere else to get it? Can it be delivered to my booth? Can it be delivered curbside? So all of those things are now becoming front and center and have become part of the expectation that consumers have. I'll give you two quick examples, right?
Please.
This innovation I just spoke about over the years that we've been kind of focused on, relentlessly focused on, has resulted in a set of solutions that are now really, pretty much versionless technology. So this is, enterprise grade supply chain software that's running natively developed in the cloud, and it's versionless. Now, at the onset of the pandemic, one of our customers in the US, when the stores were not really open for business or the footfall wasn't there, they wanted to do two things. One is they wanted to use the inventory that was locked up in the stores to fulfill e-commerce orders, because the e-commerce orders were going up through the roof. So they redirected those fulfillment orders to the stores and processed it from the store. So that really helped them drive return on the inventory that was stuck in the stores. The other thing that came about was that customers wanted to get their orders without any contact, right? So curbside pickup became a thing. In a matter of days or weeks, we were able to release functionality just because of the technology set that the solutions are built on, and give it to our customers, not just to one customer, but all of our customers could access it because it's all in real time. So some very good examples of how we could quickly kind of release innovation and technology to help our customers in the real time while they were going through these challenges.
And it's also a great example of a customer coming to you with an idea and a request, probably something you've already thought of or working on, but you were able to, make it happen in record time, and everyone deployed it. And clearly those sort of solutions are still being used today, given that as we speak, lockdowns are happening in Melbourne, all across Victoria and Sydney, and we're going through this all over again. Yeah. So look, you already mentioned Jockey as one of your original customers, one of the international customers. So can you please tell us about some of the other international customers that you have, including any ones that you're able to talk about in Australia?
Yeah, absolutely. Look, we've got, if you think about big global companies, right? You start from Nike, Adidas, Under Armour, DHL, Puma, local Cotton On Group, which I now say it's a global customer with operations in the US and Southeast Asia. They're all Manhattan customers. I'll just an anecdote here. We move or process our solutions, process 150,000 pairs of shoes every hour. And that's just kind of one example. $100 billion of pharmaceuticals are moved through our solutions. So yeah, it's really, truly making a big impact to a lot of the consumers and companies around the world.
Back in March, you also announced that the Super Retail Group, which is one of Australia's leading retailers, successfully went live with Manhattan's distributed order management solution, which is part of the Manhattan Active Omni Solution Suite. Can you please tell us how the solution upgraded Super Retail Group's operations and what they're now able to do and offer today that they weren't able to this time last year or before the technology was available? And I guess you may have already discussed some of that through the shoes and through all the rest, but if there's more you can say on that, please do.
Absolutely, Alex, that's a great question. So yeah, as you said, back in March, we did announce that. Now, Super Retail Group in Manhattan have had a 15-year-old partnership, right? So they're an existing customer. They use our warehouse management technology. But this project was for a Manhattan Active Omni solution. Now, this is part of the omnichannel commerce technology set that I spoke about we bring to the market. And this has really been the solution that now we're seeing is in great demand, just on the basis of the e-commerce sales going through the roof. Now, SRG had started this project in 2019, so they had clearly seen, and the company has kind of been ahead of the curve a bit in streamlining how they're going to process and fulfill e-commerce orders. And two things I would mention that really, kind of were some of the identified challenges that they were dealing with, and how our solution really helped them get through them, through these challenges. So, a couple of things. When people ordered online from any Super Retail Group company, say Rebel Sports or BCF, a lot of times product would be shipped interstate, even though that inventory may exist in a location close to the customer, right? And that comes back to having the visibility of where your inventory is and how much of it is stocked in which location, to be able to make those informed decisions about where should I fulfill it from.
And not waste money on extra shipping and logistics.
Absolutely, yeah. And with that inventory visibility also came that, a lot of times, customers would get their orders in two parts, right? So there were a lot of split shipments that were going on. Now, with the algorithms that are part of our solution, there's some machine learning and AI involved that gives us the ability, or Super Retail Group, the ability to now reduce those split shipments, because we can now bring inventory together or process the order from a location that has all of the items that the customer's ordered, and it goes to the customer in one package. So it's greatly reduced the split shipments. And look, interstate shipments have gone down, which has saved them a lot of money. And this is just the first step. So we'll continue on with other kind of modules that will help them further enhance their overall customer experience.
Efficiency, saving money, better customer service. What's not to love, right?
Exactly. That's it.
So how was the Super Retail Group project able to be implemented during the pandemic? I mean, I know you mentioned that they were already working on this since 2019, but were you able to have experts on site? I mean, there were instances where essential work could be done on site, or was the solution implemented remotely, or presumably a combination of the two?
Yeah, look, that's it. I think what I would say in the end, I think the team really adapted very well. So we started off in 19, as I'd mentioned, with a team on the ground. We had some real experts here from our US operation as well, but they were all working, on the ground in Brisbane on this project. And when the pandemic hit and the lockdown happened, we obviously all went remote and became virtual. Two things happened, right? The team really started to work through, and technologies have really held up really well with Microsoft Teams and Zoom and Cisco WebEx. So working with these technologies, I think the team was able to just adapt and deliver the same outcomes virtually through remote working. But also, I think the more important thing was that super retail, because of the pandemic, also pulled in their go live date. So something that was planned to go live later in the year, because of the excess demand on their e-commerce and the order volumes going through the roof, they kind of shortened the project duration, and the team still was able to meet the requirements, and the super retail team did phenomenally well. So the teams really, Manhattan super retail teams really worked well together and could bring the project date in and go live sooner than expected.
And no doubt Super Retail Group wasn't the only customer. I mean, every customer must have been experiencing supply chain disruptions over the past 18 months. Your software was obviously able to help all of those customers manage that disruption and in the best, make the best of a bad situation and actually come out ahead.
Absolutely. And I mean, this is super retail is one example, but we've had customers sign projects, start a project, and go live 100% virtually. Right? There was zero interaction between the teams working on the project, but we were still able to deliver successful outcomes. And look, across our customer base, when you look at Coles as a customer of ours using a warehouse management solution or DHL, they've been unique things that they've done, and that's what has really come out. The pandemic has really had companies like DHL and Coles and many others think outside the box with pop-up warehouses coming up to meet the excess demand, or DHL doing unique things with Woolworths, with the distribution, and all of that has been behind the scenes been possible because they've had the right technology underneath helping them make those things happen. So yeah, at the end of the day, the impact's far-reaching, and that's what kind of keeps us going.
Yeah, well, necessity is the mother of invention, and when people are faced with challenging times, they have to come up with creative ways to get around it. And so, now very recently, you announced your landmark advancement in supply chain efficiency and optimization, which, as the company explains, offers a unified distribution, transportation, labor, and automated solution with a single cloud-native application. So, what were supply chain solutions like before this? Remind us what they were like before, and what technological wizardry have your engineers had to innovate to bring this to reality? I mean, I guess you've spoken about this, but you probably have some more specific comments that you can enlighten us with.
Absolutely, and this is a big shift that's going on, and we are very proud to be at the front end and the leading edge of this. So this is not something it's been released this year, but I'll take you back a few years, in the history of how we started to envision this. This was, since 2016, 17 is when we released our order management solution in this new technology set. Now, up till then, most of the software was being built in large monolithic type of environments or platforms, right? These are big major applications, but they're all siloed and single. And what we had envisioned is that the future in supply chain and the value that can be unlocked by converting this kind of technology into a more microservices space, so breaking down those big monolith applications into much smaller pieces of microservices, and then linking them together on an end-to-end basis for the full supply chain suite, along with your omnichannel commerce technology, will give the most value to our customers. So we started with that on that journey with first releasing our order management solution, which we call Manhattan Active Omni, using that microservices-based native cloud technology. This is versionless technology. So customers get upgrades seamlessly delivered to them every 90 days. And for a company that's built itself over 30 years of innovation and is spending about 90 billion US dollars every year in R&D, it's the best thing, right? You get the innovation that we're working on delivered to you in 90-day increments. And just this year, we've released our transport management solution, also in this technology set as part of our unified supply chain solution set. Now, this, I'll spend a minute or two because TMS was released this year. Yeah. Last year, we released our WMS solution onto this technology. That's Manhattan Active WMS, and now we've released Manhattan Active TM. There is, if you were to, I've been with Manhattan over 20 years, but if you were to ask me to talk about the journey that we've been on since, the initial stages of WMS, now to this unified kind of vision of how these two solutions work together, it's just phenomenal. The opportunity for a customer to unlock value by having a warehouse management and transport management solution built on the same versionless technology set is immense. Imagine everything that's going on in the warehouse from an optimization standpoint that also integrates your labor and workforce, gamified, and making sure that they're very engaged in driving productivity, linking into your vendor network to make sure you have visibility into when products coming into your warehouse, and now taking it outside to your transport and optimizing when the product comes in to the DC, planning how to receive it and unload it, and taking those deliveries that are going from your warehouse either to the stores or to the customers and optimizing that, all interconnected in real time and in a unified technology set is where the real value is. And I'm sure our customers are going to see this and going to unlock tremendous benefit out of this.
On that note, from the past to the future, how do you think the industry will evolve over the next couple of years, given the incredible transformation we've seen over the past 18 months? And how do you think the whole industry will evolve by 2030? I mean, I'm a voracious consumer of sci-fi, and we all know that in Star Trek they have the atomic replicator that can create anything. We've all heard about how in the future Apple will sell you the plans for an iPhone, which your 3D printer will then print out for you at home. And if you've ever watched Star Trek Discovery, in season 3 they have programmable matter, where they have these little wands that can just create something out of atoms. So that's probably quite a distance into our sci-fi future. But how do you think the industry will evolve over the next couple of years and then say through to 2030?
Yeah, no, for sure. Like in the next couple of years, I think companies are going to continue to invest. Let's first look at from an e-commerce or for omnichannel standpoint. I think the focus will remain on 2 or 3 things. Customer experience will be in the center of everything, right? Because they want to increase the loyalty and customer service, and we know there's great linkage between those. That's kind of the ultimate. But to get there, having your inventory, knowing how much you have, ordering the right inventory at the right time, and placing it in the right location to then be able to deliver it from that best location to the consumer when the order comes in. And doing all of that in a manner that gives the best customer experience will be where the focus will remain for the next few years on the omni-channel e-commerce side of things. On the supply chain side, I think we're going to continue to see more and more automation, more and more robotics that's coming into the warehouse. We'll see a greater emphasis on multi-channel fulfillment happening from a single location, right? We'll see more and more of stores becoming points of fulfillment, mini warehouses, mini distribution points. So that's going to continue to be the trend. On the transport side, I think sustainability is a big thing, making sure that we're doing everything in a responsible manner, taking miles out of your transport network, delivering fewer shipments, minimizing split shipments. That's going to be a big focus, right? Because it also helps with optimization, but it also helps with the environment. If we look beyond, I think now beyond the next 3 to 5 years? Well, without looking into a crystal ball, we don't have one. I think robotics is going to become a big part of a lot of things. Who knows how deliveries will happen? Last mile fulfillment will change, I think, a lot. Whether it's driverless deliveries or greater use of drones, or some of this is already happening, being trialed, but I think that will become more mainstream. Yeah, I'm in some regards a little bit optimistic, but anxious to know what's going to come beyond that period. But what I can say is that technology will play a bigger and bigger part in our lives. That's one thing that I think will be the case for sure.
I'd like to finish with the sort of three questions that I love to ask all the people that I'm interviewing. And the first one is to ask if you could please share your memory of your first computer.
Yeah, let's go back. The first computer that I bought was in 1990.
Mm-hmm.
And it was I think a Hewlett Packard, but it's a computer that won't even fit on my desk today that I use for work. And I remember I bought it from 3 different places in 3 different parts. The CPU was bought separately, the monitor was bought separately, and there was a third element to it. So that's my memory of the first computer. I know I started learning technology and processors on the 8080 chip, and then 8085. That was back in engineering school. So that's the first memory of maybe processors and technology that I can think of or remember.
And then my second last question is to ask you, what's the best piece of advice that you've received in life to help you get where you are today?
Yeah, there've been a few, but one, and the best, I think, the most impactful has been to hire people that are smarter than you. Has been, I think, the most valuable, because I truly now come to the realization that you got to just have people smarter than you working for the organization, and you need to hire those people.
Well, it gives
that's kind of one.
It gives you a different perspective on things. You can use their insights to see things in a different way, and hopefully spark some imagination that delivers new innovation. And then my final question is simply to ask you, what's your final message to iTWire viewers and readers, and to Manhattan Associates' current and future customers and partners?
Yeah, I would just say that, look out for all of the technology innovation that comes out. I think we're in very exciting times from a supply chain perspective. There's a lot that's going to change. Disruptions are happening. But one thing's, for sure, and that is, if companies are not thinking about investing in technology that is driving optimization of customer experience, or the things we've spoken about, they're going to get left behind. Because I think in this competitive day and age, the consumer is going to hold the power, and they're going to go after, either goods or services from companies that are really looking after them. And technology is going to drive all of that.
So Raghav Sibal, Managing Director of Manhattan Associates for Australia and New Zealand, thank you very much for your time. Thank you for working with all these great companies to keep the products and services coming to us, whether on the shelves or digitally. And I hope we can talk again in the future.
Absolutely. It was a pleasure, Alex. Good talking to you.
Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Thanks.